Good afternoon. I believe you are fine. Today we shall still look at the noise. Last week we looked at how we can remove salt and pepper noise, and today we are looking at how we can get rid of Gaussian noise. Why is it that last week we talked about denoising, and this week too we are also talking about denoising? That means there's a peculiar important associated with what? With denoising. 2 years ago, during the district assembly elections, I was a presiding officer for one of the communities in Takrady anyway. I was one of the presiding officers. Somebody came to vote. He was returning from the farm, so he came early in the morning to vote. But we tried to verify him using the biometric device, and the system rejected the person. So we went into the voters register, and we realized that the person's particulars were in the voters register, but still the system couldn't recognize him. So what we told him was that he has to go wash the hands and then come back. But then the person thought because he was dirty, that is why the system couldn't recognize him. So he went and then washed them, that is, he took his bath and then came back. So we tried to authenticate him again, and this time the system was able to recognize the person. The system could now recognize the person. So what I thought is happening over here now, when the person registered, the biometric details that the system captured was different from what we were using to do the authentication. And what actually brought about the variation? The variation was created due to presence of unwanted pixels or noise on the thumb. Because the person was coming from the farm, there is high possibility that he picked some few items in the farm. Now, these items that he picked actually leave some kind of dirt. Some you can see, others you can't see. So because there were dirt on the thumb, the support vector machine that actually does the classification couldn't match the details that we were using to do the authenticating to what the system has already stored in the database. So it gave us an error message that not verified. Now, after taking the bath, these unwanted pixels were eliminated. So now the system could now recognize the person, or the support vector machine, which actually does the classification, could now match the person's information to whatever is in the database. So in any good system or application, there should be a denoising mechanism that can actually control some of the present or the impact of unwanted pixels. I'm not saying that the system EC is using doesn't have denoising mechanism. No, that is not what I'm saying. It could be that the denoising mechanism is there, but sometimes the level of corruption also plays a role. If the pixels are highly corrupted, the denoising mechanism will not be able to work efficiently. So sometimes we need to employ some manual intervention, like washing the hands with soap and water, ethanol, or any other chemicals we may find suitable. So what we are actually going to do over here is very, very necessary. It's very, very necessary. So this is our corrupted image. This type of noise is a linear noise anyway. We call it a Gaussian. It's a Gaussian noise. Now, let's see how we can remove this kind of noise from our image. Okay, so let's see. A German mathematician formulated this equation. I'm writing this. So g of x, y is equal to so equation I'm writing the equation. So 1 over 2 pi sigma squared sigma squared. I need to remove this placeholder. Multiply by e. This one we call it Euler's constant. Euler's constant. So e raised to the power. Okay. Let me delete this placeholder. Minus. Okay. Let me remove the minus. E raised to the power. Then we have our fraction. Minus. Minus, so we have minus we have x squared plus we have y squared all over 2 sigma. The sigma is actually standard deviation. I'll talk about it, so don't worry. Sigma squared. Okay, so let me remove this placeholder. Okay, so let me increase the font size a little. I think 16 should be okay. Okay. Okay, so this is the equation of this one. We need to do something else. This should be okay. Yeah. This is sigma squared. Okay. So over here we have our x coordinate and then the y coordinate. Then the standard deviation is actually what we will use to control the amount of items that goes into the kernel. We are building a forcer, so we need to control the kind of item that can pass through the kernel. If we choose a very large value for the standard deviation, that means more items will go into the kernel, and if more items goes into the kernel, we are going to lose some of the useful pixels in the image. That means in an attempt to eradicate noise, we can end up losing some of the useful pixels. And if we make the value too very small, it also means that some of the noise will still be in the image. We can't eradicate most of them. So we need to choose a sensible value. Then the x and the y corresponds to our coordinates. That is the x coordinate and then the y coordinate. Okay, so let's try to. So we are going to use this equation to put up a kernel that we can use to for our image. So let's make a table, 3 rows and 3 columns, just like we did last week. So over here we assume that our center is 0, 0. So our x coordinate is 0, our y coordinate is 0. So we try to compute these cells. We have 0, 1. As we move to the right, we increase the value of y. When we move left, we decrease the value of y. We move down, we increase the value of x. We move upwards, we decrease the value of x. So this is rows and columns. This is rows and then we have columns. So we assume that the center is 0. So over here we get 0, 1. We increase the y by 1. Then we come to the left. We are still in the same row, but the column has changed. So our column, we subtract 1, we have -1. So our row is 0, our column is -1. Then we have we go down. Our x increases its value, y remains the same, 0. Then over here we get 1, 1. What about this place? We are still in the same row, so our row becomes 1. Our column decreases by 1, -1. Then here, I said when we move upwards, the x decreases. So our x becomes -1. Our column is what? 0. Then here we have -1, and then our column is 1. Here we have our row remains the same, -1. Our column has changed, decrease in value, so we have our column being -1. So we are going to put these values into this equation to build a convolution kernel. Now let's see how we can do that. So we want to compute the value for the center pixel, that is 0, 0. So let's try to make another table, 3 rows and 3 columns. 3 rows and then 3 columns. We have g of 0, 0 is equal to
nobody gonna help you when you down. When you on top, that be when they go bring you down.
1 divided by
speed them up like rockets. Now when do me be the target?
2
if they pin them, say how they look like.
times 3.142. You know pi is constant, the value is 3.142. Times, we have, let's assume our standard deviation is 1. So we are choosing 1 for our standard deviation. So 1 squared is 1 times 1. Okay, so please let me do this one. Okay, let me copy this one. Let me bring this one here. So this part is what is giving us this one. Okay. So let's calculate the value for this one, for just this part. So we copy this one, we go into Matlab, CLC, I'm clearing the screen. Okay, so I paste it here, it's giving me, so I copy the answer, Control C. Okay. So g of 0, 0 is equal to, so I write this one there. Then E, our Euler's constant is 2.718. This is a fixed value. you have to remember is, then this part of the equation, let me also write it and compute. So let me shift it here. This part of the equation too. Let me see what it will give me. So we have minus, our x is what? 0. 0 squared, so it's 0 times 0, plus our y. Our y is also 0, so we have 0 times 0 all over 2. Here will always give us 2 because our standard deviation is 1, so this is divided by 2. Okay, or let me make it 2 times. It doesn't make sense, so all over 2. Now let's copy this one into Matlab and see what Matlab will give us. So we copy this one, then it's giving her 0. Okay, so it's giving her 0. So here we are also getting what? 0. So now let's do the final computation. The final computation is this one, this value times this value, raised to the power. In programming we use the ampersand. I think I've forgotten this one. It should be okay. Let me see. So let me type carry. I think it should be carry. Oh, let me connect to my internet. It's all fun. So okay, caret sign. I think it's called caret. Let me see. You see, this is the caret sign. Caret. We call it caret. That is the raised to the power in programming. So we call it caret. So raised to the power, that's the caret sign. Then this one, raised to the power 0, then this value. Control C. So we copy this one and then we try to paste it here. So you see we are getting, this is the final answer, we are getting this value. Control C. Let's come here. So we get this answer. So Control C, we copy this one and then we paste it here. So this is the value for our center pixel. Now we want to calculate this value too. So this value, our x is 0, our y is 1. So 0, 1, 0. This one wouldn't change. This one too will not change. It's only this one that will change. So we have 0, 0, and then our y will change, becomes 1 multiplied by 1. I think we should still get, I think it should be 0. Let me see. No, it will not be 0. Okay. So let's copy this one. So minus 0.5, yeah. Minus 0.5. So over here we get minus 0.5. 5. So we are going to put minus 0.5 here, minus 0.5. This one times replaced with the power this one. So let's compute this one. Control C. So we paste it into Matlab to do the computation. So 0.0965. So Control C. So we are getting this value 0.0965. So over here we get 0.09. When we come here, we are going to get the same number. We're going to get the same number. So let's come to row 1, column 0. So our row 1, column 0. Column 0. That is this part. So we want to compute the value here. Okay, so here we'll make it. So row 1. So our x becomes 1 times 1, and then the y becomes 0 times 0. Y squared then. So let's copy this one into Matlab. Control C. Then we open Matlab, and then we paste this one here. Oh, minus 0.5. We are getting the same thing. So yeah, that means over here too, over here too, we are going to get. So copy. When you slot it in, we are going to get this value. It means that here too, we get the same value. So let's calculate neg 1, column 1. Let's calculate this one. Minus 1, column 1. So we have our x minus 1. You can, when you get time, just go through. You realize that whatever we are saying is true. 1 So please let me change this one so that it doesn't confuse you. 1. So we copy this 1. Control C. Okay, so we have so we fill this one. We are getting negative 1. Okay, so yeah, we change this one to negative 1, and then let slot everything into Matlab to do the computation. So 0.0585. Control C.
We just they make them wonder, just like Stevie Wonder. For them I do, we know they see you. And shoot, go and shoot, and shoot, go and shoot.
0.0.
And shoot, go and shoot. See and shoot, go and shoot. Oh na 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 na.
0.0585. Let's calculate this one. Here too will be 0.0585. 0.0585. So we are left with this one. So it's row 1, column negative 1. Row 1, column negative 1. Row 1, column negative 1.
It depend them say I don't look like. They know say my hips no delight. It depend them say I get hits on.
colon negative 1. Negative 1. So control C. Copy and paste it into so negative 1. That means we are also getting the same thing there. Like 1. So that means that if we slot it's negative 1. That means when we copy this one, it's going to give us the same value. I don't need to do that. Yes, so 0.0585. So we copy this one. Control C. This is giving us this one. When we do the computation, we will also get the same value there. So basically, this is how our final kernel will look like. So this is our Gaussian kernel. So we are going to convolve this kernel with our image. So we assume that our image is corrupted. So we want to convolve our Gaussian kernel with the image. So let me try and then bring an image over here. I think there is an image. Okay, so copy, and then control. This one, this kernel, we'll just bring it here. So this is our corrupted image, and then this is our Gaussian kernel, which we are going to use to denoise or filter our image. Let me this one is no longer relevant. Let me delete this information. Oh.
We know the flop, higher we go. We just they make them wonder, just like Stevie Wonder. For them I do, we know the CEO. Empty and shoot, go and shoot.
Okay.
And shoot,
so
and shoot.
Now we are going to use convolution operation. So let's see how the convolution operation works. So okay, it doesn't matter. We are going to place this kernel. We will place this kernel over this section of the image. You know, it's 3 rows, 3 columns. So we will place this kernel here. Okay. Okay, so we'll take this 3x3 kernel and then place it here. So we'll take this first cell, we multiply it by this, we multiply this one by this one by that. So we are going to do multiplication. So 2 times this one. Plus 3, this one times this. So we have 3 times this one. Plus 1 times this one. 1 conclusion plus 3 6 times of this one. Conclusion plus 5 times the center of our kernel. This one plus 1 times this one plus 1 times this value plus 3 times this value plus 4 times this value. This value. So let's try to change the color of the template, the Gaussian kernel values. Let's make it red. I know why we are doing it this way. So
conquered, and I speed them up like rockets. Now when do me be the target? It depend them say I don't look flat. It knows say my hips no delight. It depend them say I get hits on.
So now we copy the whole of this one, Control C into Matlab. Copy everything. Enter. Okay, 2. So this is what Matlab is giving us. Control C. So that means we need another table.
Cavities, I know the liar. Them go dance like Michael Jackson. We go fight them like Mike Tyson. Then my friend they go see paparazzi, taking pictures, Jay-Z, Beyonce. See about the same. I think now Woody, my damn. Way now chain.
So here we had this value. Okay. So we will move our kernel one step. Come here. 2, 3. Borders and so we move the kernel one step. So we take 3, we multiply by this, 1 by this, 4 by, okay, so let's just, so here we'll make it is 3. 3 here is 1 times this 1. 1 here is 4 times the next one. 4. Then we have what? 5. 5. Then we have 1. I believe you understand whatever I'm doing. Then you have 2 times this one. So we have 2. Then we have so we have here 3. So this one gives us 3 times this one, then 4 times this one, then 2. Okay, so let's copy everything here. Control C. So looking at that, we paste this one here. Okay, this is what Matlab is giving us. So we place this answer here. Then we move the kernel 1 step. So this is not different from what we did last week. The way the kernel was slided over the image.
If they pin them, say how they look like. They know say my hips know the lie. If they pin them, say I get hits on.
Okay, so we shift it by 1. So we have here is 1, 4. Here becomes 2. We have 1. We have 2. Then we have 3. We have 4. We have 2, and then finally we have 1. So we multiply each cell in the image by its counterpart in the kernel. So we copy Ctrl C this one into Matlab, and let's see what Matlab will give us. So 1 point so we will do it the same way. So we visit all the pixels in the image. We will do it, so we visit all the pixels in the image. Now the values that we will get here corresponds to our filtered image. The values we generate here corresponds to our filtered image. So let's see how we can implement this one in Matlab. So let's go back to what we did last week. So last week, this is basically what we did. Let's comment last week code. So we have comments. We have commented last week's code. So let's try. Image 1 is equal to mred noisy.jpg. Okay, don't forget the strings. If not, that Matlab will give you an error. So imshow, let's check if we've read the right image. Image 1. Okay, so imshow. So let's run it and see. Okay, so this is our corrupted image. This is our corrupted image. Right now we want to denoise this image. So let's go to Google. Gaussian channel plus Matlab. Okay, so 2D Gaussian portrait of images. So basically 2D Gaussian portrait of images. So let's go for this function. So over here we have the name of the function is what? The name of the function is what? mgauss forth. So let's denoise 1 is equal to mgauss forth. Then what does the function takes? A refers to the image. So we have image 1, the name of the image, comma. Then here the next one is sigma. Sigma is the standard deviation. I told you that the standard deviation controls the amount of items that goes into the kernel. So in our example, we chose what? 1. So let's make this place 1. Okay, so I think we are done. So image show. We want to display the image. So denoise 1. So denoise 1. In show denoise 1. So let's run. I think we are done with our code. So let's run it and see. Okay. So this is our folded image. Let's display the 2 images at the same time. So we call this function figure. So look at our corrupted image and look at our folded image. This type of noise, we call it white noise, Gaussian white noise. So it's not too visible like the salt and pepper, but it's there. Let me expand this and so look at this one, then look at our folded image. At least there are some variations. Can't you see it? Look at it very well. Look at the folded image. Okay. So let's try to create more distinctions between the 2 images. I told let's change the size of the what do you call it? Standard deviation. I told you that this parameter refers to the standard deviation. We chose 1. Let's change it to 3 and see what happens. Okay. So let's run this again. Okay. So see. Look at the denoise image. Look at the noisy image and then the denoise image. See, when we change the standard deviation to 3, we are losing some useful pixels, so it's affecting the quality of our image. Please, I believe you understand. Okay, so basically that is exactly what is happening here. The quality of our image is gradually what is changing. So I told you that you always need to use a sensible value for the standard deviation. Many times we choose 0.5, which is half, but then it depends on what the type of image that you want to denoise or falter. There are some images, if you choose 0.5, it wouldn't work well. So the level of corruption in the image plays an important role over here. So my brothers and sisters, I think now we are done. So this is basically how we remove Gaussian noise from image. I believe you've enjoyed the video. See you same time next week. Bye.
Give them diabetes, it's music go crush them cavities. I know the liar. Them go dance like Michael Jackson. We go fight them like Mike Tyson. Then my friend they go see paparazzi, taking pictures, Jay-Z, Beyonce. Me see a band me sing, I think now Woody, man them. Whoop away now, whoop it.